Hi everyone and welcome back to Tennis Time. This week I'm continuing the series of the 20 greatest matches of all time, at least my favorite 20 matches of all time. After the number 20 Sampras Agassi Australian Open semi-final 2000 and the 1977 Wimbledon semi-final between Björn Borg and Vitas Gerulaitis, I'm going to reveal the match I've picked as number 18. So the number 18 is Patrick Rafter playing Andre Agassi in the 2001 Wimbledon semi-final. So why have I picked this match and what were the circumstances back then? Why has this match been a classic and a match worthy making this list? So if we have a look at Agassi's and Rafter's career, both Grand Slam champions. Agassi's won 8 major titles, Rafter 2. They've met 15 times in total in their respective careers, and Agassi leads the series 10-5. On the other hand, if we take away the first 4 matches these two players have played, because the first 4 have been won by Agassi, since the Washington Open in 1996, where Rafters won his first match, if we compare the series from then on, then they've played 11 matches from 96 to 2001. And there the race is a lot tighter. So Agassi leads that series 6 matches to 5. So regarding Grand Slam encounters, the race between these two is also pretty tight. Agassi's won 4 times when they met in a slam, and Pat Rafter has won 3 times. So incidentally, the very first meeting happened also at Wimbledon. That was back in 1993 when Agassi was the defending champion. It was a 4-set match. Rafters managed to sneak out the second set and take it, winning it on a tiebreak, but other than that, he just managed to win 4 games in the entirety of the other 3 sets. So Agassi had a pretty strong hold on Rafter at the beginning of their rivalries and matches. Take a listen to what Rafter had to say about playing Agassi.
Every time I walked on the court with Andre, I thought, please let me get a game, please let me get a game. And, and that's the way he made you feel.
This recording was made in 2012, but just recently Rafter was talking about the fact how it was for him during his prime to play Agassi, to play Sampras, players who were the biggest challenge for him or for anybody of that time. And he was saying that he actually enjoyed playing Agassi, although it felt very difficult for him at times to play him. When Rafter won his very first major in 1997, en route to victory, in the round of 16, he's beaten Andre Agassi. And Andre Agassi was at that time a little bit on a decline, but nonetheless, it was one of the best surprises of the 1997 tournament, one of the biggest surprises, and the fact that Rafters managed to go all the way through and win that US Open title, that made Rafter actually. That tournament marked Rafter as a very strong arrival on the tennis circuit. And for Rafter, that US Open title was only his 2nd ever tournament victory. In 2001, the Agassi-Rafter semi-final was a pretty anticipated one, especially amongst the tennis experts, non-British tennis experts, I might say, because in the other semi-final, Tim Henman was supposed to be playing Goran Ivanisevic, and at the time, back in 2001, it was something like 65 years since the last time a British player, Fred Perry, has won Wimbledon in 1936, and they were eagerly anticipating yet another victory for Tim Henman. And maybe because of that, the British didn't really pay too much attention to this rivalry. But other commentators, non-British commentators, were saying that this is supposed to be one of the greatest matches of the tournament, especially given the fact that the year previous, in 2000, they met in the semi-final as well, and it was a scintillating match, maybe the match of the tournament, And incidentally, the year before that, in 1999, they've also met in the semi-finals, and that time Agassi winning in 3 straight sets. So, after 1-1, Agassi winning the 99 semi-final, and after the 2000 semi-final, who would be the one who gets the chance once more to get into a Wimbledon final? Would it be Agassi or Rafter? So now let's go through set by set how the match progressed. In the first set, it very much looked like it would be Agassi the one who goes through. He was playing super confident and is hardly missing a ball. Although Rafter started the match and won his opening service game, after that he lost 5 games in a row. That means he's been broken twice, and he was 1-5 down in the first set. Serving at 1-5 down, he held, but after that Agassi was relatively comfortably holding his service game, and he took the first set 6-2 pretty quickly. So in the second set, Rafter very much felt that he needed to change something, otherwise he would be gone in straight sets, and he actually did manage to change quite a few things. Interestingly enough, if you've seen Agassi and Rafter play, you know that Rafter was the classical serve and volley player, really having a fantastic kick serve and pushing forward to the net all the time on every chance he's got. And Agassi was more like the player who was a super aggressive player, liked to take the ball very early. He had such incredible timing on the shot. He was very aggressive with his forehand, with his backhand, dictating play, but always from the baseline. He was normally kind of reluctant to go forward to the net and push to the net. So you had this great contrast of styles. But nonetheless, surprisingly enough, what Rafter did as a change, he was rallying a lot more against Agassi. What he was doing is he was trying not to give Agassi a rhythm where he can dictate all the time he likes, taking the ball very early. He was hitting a lot of slices, but very high hit slices. Also forehand drives and backhand drives, where he was trying to put Agassi off a little bit, taking that rhythm away from him, what he so much likes. And that actually worked. Somehow it lifted Rafter's game. He was becoming more confident on his own service games. And these long rallies at the beginning of the second set were helping him. After holding his service game, and he was 1-love up, it was Agassi's turn to serve, and Agassi lost his serve. So Rafter somehow managed to get that break. And that break was enough to seal the set, because there were no other breaks throughout the whole second set. So that means that Rafter's taken it 6-3. So in the third set, both players have arrived, 1-all after 2 sets. Both players playing very solid service games until at 2-3, Rafter serving, Agassi's managed to break through. He took the break point when forcing Rafter into a volleying error. So he went 4-2 up, and that was again enough for the third set. That sealed the fate of the third set, and Agassi's taken it 6-3. So in the fourth set, it's Rafter's turn to serve first, and both players hold relatively comfortably their service games until 3-2. So when Agassi starts to serve at 2-3, life gets a little bit difficult for him. He gets a wrong call, or at least he thinks he gets a wrong call, and he's pretty much pissed off. At love 15, then he's losing the first point. So he loses the second point of the game. It's love 30. He manages to go back to 30-all, and then they play a very, very long rally. Remember, it's Wimbledon. It's a grass court. They play a 26 shot rally, and Agassi misses on the 27th. And when Agassi misses that ball on the 27th, he thinks that Rafter's last backhand slice was out. It was wide. But there's no call made. He tentatively sort of hits at the ball, but it goes into the net, and then he's really pissed that there's no call made again, and he thinks he's been robbed, but he's breakpoint down. It's 30-40. And then he tries to save that break point at 30-40. He serves, they go into a relatively long rally. On the 11th stroke, he misses a backhand wide again. He pulls the trigger, but it goes wide, so he goes down the break. It's 4-2 to Rafter. After that, Rafter holds 5-2. Agassi serves to stay in the set, but Agassi seems clearly rattled. He's irritated. I think he's already set point down, and then he hits the first serve, which is so hard and so wild that it's almost out on the baseline. So he misses, he makes an error on Rafter's set point, and Rafter takes the fourth set 6-2. So it's a deadlock after 4 sets played. Since Rafter is breaking the Agassi serve in the 4th set at 2-5, he's the one starting off the 5th set. That normally is an advantage, but Agassi seems to have managed to pull himself together quite well again, and he breaks Rafter straight away in Rafter's initial service game. He holds serve comfortably, and then he's putting Rafter again under great pressure. So Agassi has breakpoints again, and he has good chances to go 3-love up with 2 breaks, and if he does that, then it's surely going to be curtains. But Rafter hangs on, manages to save, and holds Agassi off, goes 1-2. So he wins his serve, and it's 1-2. Agassi serving, Agassi goes 3-1 up, and Rafter serving to make it 2-3. He manages to pull that off, although Agassi was again pretty close to go 2 breaks up again. Then it would have been 4-1, but instead of 4-1, it's 3-2. And the story goes on until it's 5-4 for Agassi, and Agassi is serving for the match, for the place in the Wimbledon final. But this time, Rafter manages to put enough pressure on Agassi, so Agassi is missing a few balls, and Rafter gets to 30-40, so it's break point for him. They play yet another long point, a tough rally. Rafter sets up an attack with his backhand, approaches the net and puts the volley away. So by that he breaks Agassi back, and it's 5 games all in the 5th set. So from that point on, it looked like Rafter was the one who somehow managed to get a grip on that match, because up until till that point, it really looked like it's Agassi's match. He had Rafter with a break many times, almost with 2 break advantage in the last set. So it was really his match to take. But somehow Rafter really managed to dig deep, make Agassi uncomfortable, come many times to that, some great volleying, and he pulled it back, made it 5 games all. Served next, he made it 6-5, then Agassi had his serve, made it 6 all. Rafter again serving, made it 7-6, and then at 6-7 down, Agassi serving, because there is no tiebreak. He goes love 40 down, manages to save the first 2 match points, so it's 30-40, then he's serving, and this time Agassi is the one who tries to go to the net to push Rafter, but Rafter finds a good backhand pass, lifts it up, makes it very awkward for Agassi to catch it, and with that point he seals the match, and he makes it his 2nd Wimbledon final in a row. I know me talking about the match might be exciting, but it is probably a lot more exciting to watch the match. So in case you would like to do that, I've put down some links, highlights into the description below. Please feel free to check it out. And for next week, I'm going to reveal the number 17 match on the list from the 20 greatest matches of all time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.